Blackout chaos. Huge power outage strikes Spain, Portugal, and France. Entire cities are plunged into blackouts. Transport networks are shut down, and the internet is cut off in scenes of mayhem. Everyone trying to hear don't speak news. Well, I don't doubt it because you cut the internet off and there will be mayhem. No question about it, especially in the West, where everybody, I was just talking to a fellow believer about this the other day, is that everybody thinks that as long as their phones are working, everything's fine. Well, guess what? Their phones aren't working now in Portugal and Spain in particular, and France in part at least. But France has not been hit as hard from what I'm understanding. So here we go. Spain and Portugal have been hit by widespread blackouts with millions plunged into darkness amid scenes of mayhem across major European cities. The power cuts come just days after Spain's power grid ran entirely on renewable energy, including wind, solar, and hydropower, for a whole day for the first time on April 16th. Oh, guess what? Nothing's running now. Spanish officials are urgently investigating the cause of the outages and have said they're looking into the possibility of the blackouts being triggered by a devastating cyber attack. But now we're starting to hear that it was caused by a rare atmospheric event, like a solar storm. As we can see here, a rare atmospheric phenomenon behind outage and disruption could last a week, Portuguese operator says. So this is from REN, Portugal's grid operator. It claims that the outage that's affected Portugal was caused by a fault in the Spanish electricity grid related to a rare atmospheric phenomenon. Yes, of course, something like that is going to find the weakest point of the grid, and then, that part goes bad, and the whole thing goes down, as we're seeing right now. REN says that due to extreme temperature variations in Spain, there were anomalous oscillations in very high voltage lines. He said this is known as induced atmospheric variation, which in turn led to oscillations, which caused synchronization failures between systems. Now I'm going to stop right there. If you guys have been watching this, watching the YouTube account, Mr. MBB333, he's been talking about all these different flickering lights going on around the world. And I think that's what we're looking at here. And that's what caused this blackout, is this anomalous oscillations in the very high voltage power lines. If you look at those videos that he's got, you'll see that the lights are flashing in cities, in shopping malls, individual businesses, and then individual homes, and all these reports are flooding in from around the world. And now we're seeing, I think, the most extreme version of it, not just flickering lights, but now complete power outages. And I think we're going to see that around the world, including here in the States. So prayed up and prepped up at all times, guys. Wow. It's all here now, and it's all going down. I would say electricity failure on that scale is definitely the crap hitting the fan. And we can see some videos here from around Europe. No power in Seville, Barcelona, Pamplona, and Valencia. The metro is down in Madrid and Barcelona. Passengers had to exit the trains and walk, and some of them through the dark tunnels. Not in this case, of course. Yep, everything's shut down, guys. Wow. Looks like an airport setting. This is underground at a metro station. And there they are walking. Look at that. Everything back to the Stone Age. Just like that. If this doesn't prompt some of you to get prepping, I don't know what will. And we can't prep for every occasion, so that's why I say prayed up first, prepped up second. I think we get the idea there. And here's some more. Looks like this is out in the city. Which one, I'm not sure. Like I said, back to the Stone Age, just like that. things are calm for now, but wait until people start starving or even get hunger pains. Wow. And yep, that's why I say prayed up and prepped up at all times. And as we can see, as we continue on with the story here, all of Valencia and Barcelona were left without power. Spain's entire rail network shut down. Internet services stopped working, and there was chaos on the streets as traffic built up in Madrid and Lisbon. Madrid's mayor has urged people to stay where they are as they deal with this disaster, while the president of the city's regional government has called for Spain's prime minister to activate an emergency plan so soldiers can be deployed. And we're starting to see that now, right here. The army will be deployed in Madrid. Madrid's community president has asked the government to activate status 3 so that the Spanish military can guarantee order. And here's a scene of the chaos in the streets of Madrid. As you can see, all the gridlock because all the traffic lights are down. So everything stops, complete gridlock. Moving a little bit now. Imagine the chaos that's going to cause in the US when it happens here. Because it will. So back to the story at hand again. We know the cause of the outage, a rare atmospheric event. A fire on the Alaric mountain in the southwest of France, which damaged a high voltage power line, has also been identified as a possible cause. And a director at Spain's electricity grid operator said just before 3 p.m. local time that the outage is exceptional and totally extraordinary, and it will take between 6 and 10 hours to repair, but now we're talking maybe a week or more as we get updates. And there's more pictures of people having to walk and everything being down. There's no flights going in and out of these places. I just showed you the gridlock. And then this is a closed metro station. I'm just closing it all down because, you know, they're not running. So, wow, guys. Like I always say, prayed up and prepped up at all times. And so that's the main story I wanted to share with you in this particular segment. And we'll continue on with more news later today, God willing, as long as our power stays on, right? So make sure you've got your generators ready to go in this type of a situation. Make sure you have enough fuel for the said generators. And guys, it won't be long before you won't be able to get much, as it has begun. The port of Seattle is now empty with 0 inbound ocean container ships, as we see right here from this picture. So shortages of everything are about to hit store shelves in America. Wow. It's all here. Seek Jesus Christ now while there's still time. He is the only way out of this. We are definitely in the tribulation hour and we're close to the end of it. So I can't emphasize it enough. Get whatever preps you need, whatever supplies you need now before it's too late, because there's nothing coming in to the ports at this point. I already showed you the LA ports last week. And that would be it for this segment. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.